Happy Halloween, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fly Like an Eagle podcast. It's my favorite day of the year. That's why I'm doing it this early. Usually I do it at night. Usually I do it at it's Wednesdays, 7 o'clock, 7:30. Love talking about the birds and Philly sports other than my baseball team that lost last night. But that's nor here nor there. Absolutely love this show. We've been doing it since March, and I'm going to take this opportunity before we get into it to thank Scotty for being on the show since March 14th. We grew this thing for 7 months. It was a lot of fun. I would never take anything back from it. He was a really good co-host, and obviously it didn't end the best terms, but I do want to say thank you for everything he did and actually taught me. The format of the show, it is what it is because he made it was what it was. Everything from going down the list, what we should talk about, bringing a new dynamic here. And I just want to say, and this is from the bottom of my heart, he did a spectacular job here. He really did. And it is a one-man band now. I'm going by myself, old roots, obviously. Obviously, I can't force someone to stay here. If someone wants to leave, they can leave. It just is what it is. That's America, and that's just who we are as people. If you're not happy, you go, and that's it. And I would say this, that if he did want to come back, here's the thing. I don't know if I'd be able to bring him back at this point because usually when you just jump out of it in the middle of the season, whether personal issues or whatnot, if you have problems with people, me, whatever, if you jump out of it, I'm just to the point in my life where I don't hold grudges, but I'm treating this more as a business, even though it's not really, it's nonprofit right now, at least, but I'm treating this more as a business to where you can't just jump out mid-season just because of something that happened and then just want to come back. Yeah, you're either all in or you're not. And I just wanted to take my time thanking him and appreciating him for his time here. But this is a new era. It's a clean slate, just me. Who knows if I'm going to have a co-host down the road? I have no idea. But from here on out, this season, Fly Like an Eagle podcast is the me show. So without further ado, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Now, this is an interesting one. I will be at this game. My buddy, what's up, Rowan? My buddy Zomp, who used to be a co-host on the show a long time ago, he got me an extra ticket to go to the game. So I love that. And, I can't wait to spend the day with him. And it's going to be awesome. We're going with 2 other people. That's going to be a lot of fun. But this is an interesting one because Dougie P's coming back for the second time since he left the Philadelphia Eagles. And, obviously I get emotional when people that win you championships come back into Philly and, try to beat you. He's definitely going to try to beat us. That's the goal at the end of the day. But you have that certain chip on your shoulder when you face your former team that you won with. You won the only Super Bowl against us in franchise history. So that's going to be an interesting thing to look forward to. Now, I don't know if Travis Etienne's playing. He's listed as questionable. But after last week's game, 37-17, I can't doubt this team any longer. I cannot do it. Jalen Hurts played the best game since 2022. He looked phenomenal. He had four touchdowns total. Or did he have 3 touchdowns total? I forget. But in a place we never, ever win, it was good to see him perform like that. It was good to see the team just shoulder everything. And it was a great win and one of the best wins I've seen in Eagles history. Honestly, personally, Eagles history, since the time I've been following the Eagles, it's been one of the better wins I've ever seen as an Eagles fan because of the situation that we've been in with the Bengals, playing over there in Ohio against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. We haven't beat them since before 2000. And I just thought it was one of those wins that it really sets a tone for the franchise. So that was fun to see and fun to watch. So I think you carry that momentum, you bring it into this game, and you go from there. Now, Chalk Lad in the comment section says, I think it will be closer than what people think. Now, here's the thing. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm a huge line follower, especially when it comes to the gambling world. We're listed at 7.5-point favorites. I think it's a little bit low, honestly. I would put it maybe as like 10, 11 based off last week. So you have to add that element of Dougie P coming back and bringing his emotions into the game. So I think that's what Vegas sees and they're expecting it. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that. But after last week, I have all the faith in the world in this team. I think they could bring their momentum for the rest of the season and just use their advantage, especially in this game against a team that's, let's be honest, really bad. It's a really bad Jacksonville Jaguars team. They have some role players. They have some good players. They have some studs. Travis Etienne, Bigsby's a decent backup. He might be used a lot more this week because Etienne's hurt with a hamstring. But they have some playmakers. Christian Kirk, I think he might actually be out. I'm not sure, but Trevor Lawrence, you always got to watch out for him. He's having a bad year, but he's still a decent quarterback. You have Evan Ingram you got to watch out for in the tight end position. I'm not ready to look over this game. I think we should win this game, but this is a game where, again, it has trap. It has a trap feel on it. I know it's Kelly Green week, which is why I'm donning it, but it's one of those games where I agree with Choplad. Ingram will see the ball a lot. I agree with him. I think Choplad is dead on. Ingram is going to see the ball maybe 12 to 13 targets this week. You got to watch out for him because he's pesky, he's sneaky. I had him in fantasy last week, and this guy will get it going if you give him the opportunity to go. And you just can't. You can't. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Because Evan Ingram hasn't had that one breakout game this year because he's been injured for most of it. So he's going to have that one game eventually where he's going to get all the targets. So that's one thing I do look forward to, trying to defend him. It's going to be a lot of fun, but, obviously if he gets his targets, it won't be so much fun. So Bruin Steelers checking in. Looking forward to my Steelers versus the Eagles. We'll get down that when it comes, but the Steelers are in a tricky spot right now when it comes to trying to figure out what type of team they are. Because Russell Wilson, you have a real quarterback now. Russell Wilson looks like the Russell Wilson that played in Seattle more than he did in Denver now. And I think that's a big coaching thing because Mike Tomlin, I'll admit it, is the absolute best football coach in the game today. Absolute best. I think if anyone gets their hands on a coach like that, they're going to win a lot of titles and they're going to be in a ton of positions to win titles. They just needed Russell Wilson. They needed the Russell Wilson that was in Seattle. And now you have George Pickens, who's not going to wasteland. And you have a tremendous defense as it is. So I can't see how Bruin Steel is not confident going against us. But that'll fall where it may. And I'll come back to that down the road. But thanks for checking in, Bruin Steel. All right, let's see. And here's the thing. Since Scotty is gone now, I will read a lot more comments because I'm a one-man band and I'm going to be more vocal towards you guys. It won't be just me and him going back and forth because another compliment I'll say to him is when I'm talking with Scotty, I could talk to him for like hours and hours and hours and hours. Like me rambling off right now, like I'm great at doing that. But like when it comes to sports, we could have talked for hours. So we never really got to your comments and they were hour and a half shows. So I'm going to try to make these shows 45 minutes to an hour. I'm still going to do the pick'ems. I'm still going to do the power rankings. Those are dynamics that he brought to the show, and I'm going to use them because they were good ideas. So I'm going to use those, but I'm going to talk to you guys a lot more as well because I feel like you guys bring a certain dynamic to the show that, just adds on to everything. And for me personally, I'll say this, full disclaimer. Since it's just me, and it's not him because he was on the left side of politics. We all know this. Since it's just me now, you guys can type whatever you want in the comment section and I will read it. If it's kind of online with what we're doing, but you guys could type more, you can write, you could just ask, questions, whatever. And I'll try my best to, answer them, read them and whatever, because obviously we got to take this election on Tuesday. Saints fan 141. Off topic, but have you seen Terrifier 3 yet? And thoughts on the Yankees losing the World Series? You made a video on the Yankees. Disregard this comment. I didn't make a video on the Yankees. I'll get to them next. Terrifier 3 I saw. Now, here's the thing about Terrifier. I studied film in my brief time in college. All right. I loved it. I wanted to be a director. I worshiped Quentin Tarantino and Steven Spielberg. Here's the thing about Terrifier 2. They are not good. The Terrifier series, they are not good movies. The Terrifier series, they're not good movies. It's the shock factor and the gore that you go to watch. And no, people aren't sick for liking that. It's interesting because when you see something that's clearly not real and someone makes it look so real, that's what people go to see because it's interesting. It's like, how do they do that? And I just feel like they're fun movies to watch, but they're not good movies. Terrifier 3 had some crazy kills. It did, but not my favorite franchise, but it was fun. Going back to your other point about the New York Yankees, what are you going to do? They're my least favorite team out of all my teams, but I'll explain right now, literally explain right now that the Dodgers clearly deserve that series. Clearly. I'm not even mad about it because you can't play Little League-esque baseball and have Little League mistakes and expect to be a world champion at the toppest level, the most top level. You cannot expect that. 3 errors in the 5th inning, like against that team with 3 Hall of Famers at the top of the lineup, maybe 4. You can't do that. It's just it wasn't their World Series to take. And even if they did win that game, they probably were losing in 6 because they woke up the Dodgers anyway. You can't awake a sleeping giant. You just can't. And the Dodgers were phenomenal. And what do I always say? If you have money, spend it. They did it. They won. Congrats to them. Congrats, Dodgers fans. You guys obviously deserved it. And you guys have a real World Series title now. You don't have to talk about 2020 anymore because everyone knows that was a fake World Series. This is a real one. So congratulations. Chop Lad. Nice to see Hurts under center. I love it. I think them practicing Hurts under center really developed his game. And it's one of these things where we need it because him being in the shotgun, it was way too predictable. And now he could use everything. He could use Barkley out of the backfield. You're fooling the defenses a lot more now. And like you saw, we put up 37 points last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. And they only scored 17 on us, which means the defense is balling out. Quinyon Mitchell, you guys can call him the rookie all you want. I think Quinyon Mitchell looks like a fucking 5-year seasoned vet. He looks absolutely fucking phenomenal. And I was completely wrong about him. I remember when we drafted him, I was like, I don't know if his game's going to translate to the NFL level because he played at Toledo, a very low level on the college stage. And I didn't know how it was going to translate. Well, he's shutting down the best of the best. So I was completely wrong, and I'm confident saying I was wrong. He's great. He's the best player we have on defense, and I think Cooper DeJean is not far off. I think Cooper DeJean is excellent as well. Slay's playing better. The defense is playing great, and you got to thank Vic Fangio. The guy is a monster. He's a good defensive coordinator, and now he's putting everything together. So, we have a chance. We went from not looking good, potentially being a first round out in the playoffs, to potentially being back to what we were in 2022. So, just keep the momentum going, keep it flying high, and we'll see what happens. Quinyon and Dijon, they look great. They look great. They don't look like rookies. And I have to give my credit to Howie because Howie, I've always given him criticism. But this year, he nailed those picks. Absolutely nailed those picks. He picked Quinyon Mitchell with our first pick overall, and then Cooper DeJean slid to him, and did he slide? I'm forgetting. Did we trade up for him? But if he traded up for him, I give him even more credit because they're 2 of the best players in the draft easily. And Cooper DeJean was a freaking 2nd round pick. This kid fell to the 2nd round. Like, our NFL franchises are just stupid. Like, I don't understand it. Cooper DeJean, he's a natural, pure talent by the looks of it. He could play anywhere in the secondary. Quinyon obviously has an island for himself. Are these franchises just dense? Are they dumb? They just let these players fall to us, and it's just whatever. If you want us to continue to win, continue to be in position, keep doing it, But yeah, man, they look really good. They really do. But yeah, getting back to the game a little bit before I get into my power rankings and pick'ems this week. I see us winning. I see us winning this game just because we're on a roll right now, and I like the way we're playing. It's just as simple as that. And we're back at home. I'll be there. the last game I went to, we lost. It was Monday Night Football. It was actually with Scotty and Ant. We lost in like the last 2 minutes of the game. We were up the whole game. We lost. So that was one of the games that sucked. But you know what? We look a lot better than we did then. So let's just bring the momentum into it. Shut down the running game, which we've been really excellent at doing. Shut down their main receiving targets and, contain Trevor Lawrence. Because Trevor Lawrence, again, I said this about Evan Ingram. Trevor Lawrence hasn't had that one game this year either where he exploded. And this is a guy at Clemson that looked terrific in college. And they gave him that money for a reason. He's a good quarterback. So you have to expect the most, especially when their backs are against the walls. It's still kind of early in the season, so their backs are against the walls. They have to win this game, and I feel they're going to bring their best this week. So we got to watch out for that, but if we contain it, we'll be good. Score prediction, I will give the Eagles the score. Let's go 31-20. I think the Eagles win this game 31-20. I think they let up a little bit this week just because Dougie P is coming back and he really wants this one like badly more than any other game. So I would give them 20 points this week, to be completely honest with you. Can I see them bringing in a pass rush? I mean, yeah, I do. I do because I still think they need one. The last couple of weeks we looked good, but if you could add pass rush to this team, along with the kind of secondary we have right now, we'd be dynamic. And I know my buddy Zomp, who's just like texting me left and right now. My buddy Zomp says defense is a luxury. It's not the ultimate thing you need. And I somewhat agree with him. I feel like, offense is the bee's knees in the NFL today. It really is. But if you have a great defense on top of that, you're going to be world champions, And if you add a valuable pass rusher to this team, like a Max Crosby or someone like that, you're going to turn into that dynamic team, and you could potentially beat the Chiefs this year because I think the Chiefs are going to get back to the Super Bowl. So I could see them adding one, and I think they should add one, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's pretty much that when it comes to the game. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a fun one. It's supposed to be nice weather, too. Last time I checked, the weather for Sunday is going to be 37 in the morning, 61 in the afternoon, and the game's at 4:25, so that's perfect. 61 in the afternoon, that's awesome. I'm shocked that the weather's still what it is, but listen, I'm not complaining. You'll never hear me complain about the weather being this nice at the end of October. The best shit ever, and let's keep it going. Maybe I'll get a couple more rounds of golf in before the season ends. I actually just had a golf session this morning. I'm taking lessons because I want to be better because I'm competitive. And I absolutely suck right now. So I'm taking lessons, and so far I go from my swing, my club face, like curving in to more of a slice now. So that's something that he taught me, and I can't wait to use it. But yeah, moving on. Let's go into our power rankings for this week. So here's as followed. The power rankings last week for week 7. Obviously, we're just doing me. And they're right here. Yep, obviously, we're just doing me. So this was my power rankings for week 8, not week 7, week 8, as followed. So it was the 49ers at number 5, Ravens at number 4, Vikings at number 3, Detroit at number 2, and KC at number 1. Now, I'm going to change this up a little bit, obviously. I'm going to move the Niners up to number 4 this week. Yep, Niners go up to number 4 this week just because they beat the Cowboys in pretty decent fashion considering all the injuries they have. The Cowboys stink, let's be real. I'm going to move them up to number 4. Number 5, the Ravens. I mean, the fact that I put the Ravens in my power rankings last week, like number 5, it was bad karma. It was bad juju because they lost to the freaking Cleveland Browns. So I got to put the Ravens at number 5. So at number 5, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, we have the Niners. And here we go. Number 3 last week, the Minnesota Vikings. I am dropping the Minnesota Vikings out of my power rankings. The Minnesota Vikings have lost me. and it only took 2 weeks. The Minnesota Vikings, I thought, were one of the best teams in the NFL. And honestly, they fooled me. I thought they were better than what they were. I thought they were better than what they showed me the last 2 weeks, and I was wrong. The LA Rams, they get 2 wide receivers back, and Minnesota just forgets how to play. They forget how to play. So they're dropping out of my power rankings, and that's that at the end of the day. Sliding into their spot at number 3 are the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go the Buffalo Bills at number 3. They're 6-2 on the season. They look good, and they hop right back into my power rankings. Number 2, same as last week, Detroit. They're staying there. Detroit's a great team. But number 1, I have to go Kansas City because they're undefeated, and they look like they're a full steam ahead back to the Super Bowl, and they don't even have their best players. So I'm going to go Kansas City number 1. Number 5, Ravens. Number 4, Niners. Number 3, Bills. Number 2, Detroit. Number 1, Kansas City. That is your Week 8 power rankings on my end. So there you have it. Off topic, what do I think of the Yankees run? Didn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you lose the World Series, you lose. I was never into those high ground moral victories. Thanks, by the way, buddy. Halloween's my favorite holiday. Absolutely my favorite holiday. But that's why I always laugh at teams obviously I'm not laughing right now because we lost, but laugh at franchises like the Phillies and like that. No offense, guys, but right after they lost the World Series to the Astros, I watched the Philly captain, which shout out to him, great content creator. I watched the Philly captain's vlog, and this doofus, he has his National League champs shirt on, and he's like, National League champs, literally right after they lost the game. National League champs. You can't take that away from us. What is a National League champion? The whole goal is to win the World Series. If you don't win the World Series, nothing else matters. You're in it to win the championship. You don't know when you're going to be back. Why would you want to celebrate second place? I say that for every single one of my teams that's in the championship. Every single one of my teams. If you make it that far, like the Mets did this year, I hate the Mets, but the Mets made it so far, but they're like, we made it further than we thought. You made it that far for a reason. You were good enough this year to make it that far. You have to win. You don't know when you're making it back. I don't get these moral high ground victories. I don't get it. I've never have gotten it. It's like when the Eagles got to the Super Bowl in 2022, I was upset. I'm not going to lie to you because it's especially losing in that fashion on that hold. You don't know when you're going to get back. Last year we looked awful. 2022 we looked great. Last year we looked awful. And this year, who knows? You're playing against 30 plus other teams. Only one team wins the Super Bowl. Only one team wins the World Series. Only one team wins the NBA Finals. Only one team wins the Stanley Cup. If you get there, you have to win. Have to. Because if you don't know when you're getting back. So I never understood the whole moral compass of it. I've never understood that whole, we did this. I'm so happy for the guys. The team that lost, they're still going to be happy. They get paid millions of dollars. Millions. Their bank account's fine. The people that put in their money with no ROI if they lose, the only time you get return on your investment if you're a sports fan is if your team wins. And that's not really even a return on investment because you're not getting any money back for it. But we watch it as entertainment. We love our teams. But the only way you're happy in the end, spending all that money to go to games, is if you win. That's it. To go to game 4, it was the only good game of the series. I'm glad I saw a good game. But me and my buddy, we spent $1,300 a piece to go to that game. That's expensive as shit. And we saw a great game, which made it better. But we lost in 5 games. What's the point of spending that much money other than the memory? But what's the point of spending that much money if it's not an investment on something that you're ultimately going to lose? So, I mean, it was a fun World Series. They were the best of the best teams, but at the end of the day, the Dodgers, played well, made no mistakes. That's what championship teams do. They don't make any mistakes, and they didn't. The New York Yankees made all the mistakes in the world. 3 errors in 1 inning. 3. You don't win like that. And even if they did win that game, they didn't deserve it anyway. You don't look like a fucking little league team and expect to win the World Series. It's just, it is what it is. Like, I don't celebrate moral shit. I don't do it. You either win or you don't. I would say congrats for getting that far, but I'm not going to celebrate getting that far if you don't win. And that goes for any one of my teams. These players will be fine. They make millions of dollars. They're not going to cry themselves to sleep because they didn't win a championship out of 30 teams. Only one team wins. One team's good enough to win, and that's it. Oh, you're a Dodgers fan? As a Dodgers fan, I feel bad for Judges. I don't. I mean, look, listen. In my honest opinion, I'm not trying to talk about baseball because obviously it just ended yesterday, but Soto's gone. Soto's not going back to the Yankees. He's gone. They're not going to pay that much for him. I loved his services. I thought he was fun to watch. Not worth $700 million. And if they do pay that much, I think it's kind of foolish because there's other pieces they could get out there. He's a phenomenal player and he's young as hell, but it's just not worth it. Ohtani's worth that money. Soto's not, because Ohtani pitches as well. Soto doesn't. Soto has some of the absolute worst defense you'll ever see in your life. So let's just say a team like the Philadelphia Phillies opens up the checkbook and they give him whatever they want or whatever he asks for. They're going to expect diamonds. They're going to expect him to be the Ohtani. Like they paid him that much money, and it's not going to happen. The Phillies have so many problems that Soto won't fix all their problems. I think it would be dumb, but I just, whatever. I mean, I view him differently. He's a great player, but he's not worth that much money. No, I disagree. I don't think they need to fire him. He got them to the World Series, but yep, that's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to baseball till April? Yeah, that's it. Maybe the offseason. I don't fucking know. I try not to talk too much about that then because most of my followers are Philly sports fans. So when most of your followers are Philly sports fans, you don't want to talk about, your baseball team that's not a Philly sports team. So that's basically that. So we are a half hour into the show. You guys are great. This is my first solo show ever, and I'm loving every second of it. I really am. So I'm going to go into my weekly pick'ems for so since he's not on the show anymore, I'm going to go into the pick'ems and do a gambling segment, I guess. So tonight, I don't even know what my record is. I'm going to start over, actually. I'm going to do a new record. I'm going to do a new record because it's just me. So pick'em record for week 9 on record. All right. So let's start 0-0 clean slate. We'll have our lock of the decade and shit like that. So let's do it. All right. Starting out with the Thursday night football game tonight. Halloween. I saw these tickets on StubHub before fees going for $17 in MetLife Stadium. Not good. The Jets are 3-point favorites at home against the Texans. It's a weird line because the Texans are actually a good team this year. Right now, 14% of the money is on the New York Jets. Not many people are betting them, and they're favorites. Usually, I would say that's a big no-no in the eyes of gambling because the Jets are 2-6 and the Texans are 6-2. I don't care. This is the situation. This is a scenario that I need to tell all of you guys. When it comes to gambling, bet smart. Either bet smart or don't bet it at all. Those are your two options. You are not taking the 2-6 New York Jets, even though they're home, the way they've been playing this year. You're not doing it. If anything, stay off of it. But I'm going to take the Texans in the pick'em because the Texans are a better team, even though they just lost Stephon Diggs. They're the better team. And obviously, if you're trying to make money, go with the Texans. It's that simple. But for me, I would stay off of it. That's a stupid line, but you're not betting the Jets. You're just not doing it. But, yep, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans there. Next game, Tennessee Titans versus the New England Patriots. Both teams suck out loud. Both teams are horrible. Titans are 1-6. Patriots just beat the Jets last week, which is why you never bet the New York Jets again. Patriots going into Tennessee. I think the Patriots are abysmal. I'm not saying that the Titans are any any much better. But the Titans are the home team. They got to win eventually. I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans this week in my pick 'em for sure. I like them. The Browns versus the Chargers. Now, this is going to be a sneaky one to people because of how Jameis Winston played. But I'm going to go with the Chargers on the road against the Browns. The Chargers, in my opinion, have a better coach. Yes, Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than Kevin Stefanski. How the fuck you say his name? Kevin Stefanski. And that's just what it comes down to. The Browns are 2-6. Chargers are 4-3. Chargers are just a more balanced team, in my opinion. They don't have a great wide receiver option. But again, I would go with them in the pick 'em. Yeah, go with the Chargers. And if you're going to bet anything, bet the Chargers. I think the Chargers win that game. Saints at Panthers. Who cares? Both really abysmal teams, but I'm going to go with the upset. The Panthers are 7-point home underdogs against the Saints. The Saints are just abysmal. They started off the season great, and then they just fell flat. Again, yeah, go with the Panthers. Go with the Panthers with the upset, +7, whatever you want to do, and enjoy your money. Dolphins at the Bills. Tua's back. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill now have their quarterback back. I'm going to go this could be a trap game. It probably is a trap game. It's the regular season. The Dolphins have to win. The Bills do not. It's a divisional game. All right, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. They lost last week to the Arizona Cardinals. Bad loss, but I think it's a trap game for Buffalo. Give me the Dolphins straight up. All right. Cowboys versus the Falcons. Easiest game of the week, guys. Falcons. Falcons are going to win this game. Bet them. Do whatever you got to do. I would almost call it the lock of the week, but I think there's something better. But yeah, take the Falcons in that game easily. Broncos versus the Ravens. The Ravens just lost to the Cleveland Browns last week in Jameis Winston. Broncos have some great defense. I wouldn't overlook the Broncos. They're both 5-3 football teams. They're being coached well. You know, Sean Payton, you know, he thrives for these games. But I feel like since the Ravens lost last week and Lamar Jackson didn't really have that good of a game. And he usually goes he's clearly the front runner for MVP this year. So I think Lamar Jackson is going to run a lot in this game. He's going to keep the defense on their toes, which, let's be honest, the Broncos defense is really freaking good. They're going to run Derrick Henry a lot. Give me the Ravens this week. I think the Ravens win this week for sure. Raiders at Bengals. Yeah, just take the Bengals. And if you're going to bet it, take the Bengals as well. The Raiders they're lost hope, lost cause. Commodores versus the Giants. You got to go Commodores. You know, they're playing out of their mind. The Giants can't even move the fucking football. Like, Daniel Jones looks like shit. I mean, granted, last week, you know, I didn't even watch that game because the World Series was on, but they played the Steelers. The Steelers still beat them. And someone told me the Steelers had one of the worst games in a long time, and they still beat them. So, yep, take the Commodores. 4:05 game, November 3rd, Bears versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are home. The Cardinals are 4-4. Tricky-ass team, Mr. Jonathan Gannon. Mr. Jonathan Gannon. Do I do it? Fuck yeah, I do. Take the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals are showing that they're actually becoming a decent team. They're not a great team. They're not even a good team. They're a decent team. They're 500. I think Jonathan Gannon's a good head. I think he's a great head coach. Not even good. I think he's a really, really good head football coach. The Bears got exposed last week. That Hail Mary, I know they lost on it, but Caleb Williams stinks. I think Caleb Williams just is horrific. I'm not saying Kyler Murray's much better, but yeah, give me the Cardinals this week. I think the Cardinals not shellac, but I think they win this game by maybe 7 points. Give me the Cardinals at home. Jaguars, Birds. Already told you, 31-20 Birds. So take the point spread as well, -7.5. They should cover. Rams versus Seattle. This is a tough one. I know Seattle just got destroyed last week, but no, I'm going the Rams. I know it's a divisional game, but the Rams look competent again with the 2 wide receivers back and the run game. Give me the Rams. The Rams are a better football team when everyone's healthy. They just are, and they're probably going to make the playoffs again. Seattle looked awful last week. Lions at the Packers. Jordan Love is a mystery this game because they don't know if he's playing or not. So if he plays, I feel like the Packers would win just because they're home. But no, give me the Lions. I'm going to go with the Lions. I feel like they're more balanced right now, and they're proving me wrong. I thought they were going to be a dud going into the season, but especially losing a captain like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But yeah, give me the Lions. All right, Colts at Vikings Sunday Night Football game. Yay! Who asked for this shit? Usually I would say Vikings would win. They lost 2 straight, and the Colts really aren't that good. But they benched Anthony Richardson, the Colts did. They're bringing in Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco runs a competent system. Granted, he's a lot older now. He runs the system right, though. So if you give the ball to Jonathan Taylor, you throw the necessary passes to Pittman and company, I think the Colts actually upset the Bengals, the Vikings in this situation, and the Vikings lose 3 straight games. I like the Colts a lot this week, actually. And last but not least, Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. Now, this is in Arrowhead. The Chiefs got to lose eventually, right? Not going to happen this week. I get it. Without Godwin and Evans, it's tough for the Buccaneers, but Baker Mayfield still looks like a competent quarterback. He does. And honestly, if it weren't for Lamar Jackson being the baller that he is, I would put Baker Mayfield in MVP consideration. Like I really would. So give me Kansas City on the money line, not the spread. I think 9 points is way too high, but I like the Chiefs to win that game this week. So those are my pick'ems this week. And hey, listen, and I just got a comment. Yeah, those are my pick'ems. So do what you got to do with those, and hopefully you guys win some money. Much respect doing this live after a game last night. It is what it is, and I told people in here, I don't really talk about them on my channel anymore because they're not a Philly sports team. But when it comes to championships, and I'll relay this message just because I have to kill some time. 37 minutes. I'm going to try to go 45. So when it comes to championships, you either win it, obviously, or you'll lose it. There's no moral victories for me. I've never seen the point. I don't congratulate millionaires for coming in second place. I don't do it, especially the way they lost. You get to that level, you're a good team all year, and you just have gaffes like the way you did. Volpe throwing at the third when he didn't have to. Judge dropping a pop-up, fucking Cole not running to the bag, Rizzo not steamrolling into the bag. It's stupid mistakes. They're dumb. They didn't deserve it. So congratulations to the Dodgers. Ravens win a close one. We'll see. I picked the Ravens, but based off the defense, I have to agree. The Broncos defense, I have to agree. Trump 2024, we'll see what happens, man. We will see. Tuesday couldn't come soon enough. Cardinals over Bears, I agree with you. And what record do you think we finish with? I'm going to go 12-5. I'm pretty much going to stick with it. 12-5, I think, is what we're going to finish with. We looked competent last week. We looked really good last week. 37-17 in Cincinnati. They couldn't score. I wouldn't think this highly of this team right now if they put up numbers against us. But the fact that we limited them to 17 points in their own house, it gives me high optimism. They just got to continue it. They got to roll it over. They got to continue it. And the coaching's got to be there. The players got to be there. And last week gave me optimism. They really did. But, what's up, Tommy? But today we have 27 live viewers on a Halloween Thursday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's probably some of the best numbers we've had all season this far. It's crazy. But with that said, guys, if you guys have anything else to say it. I'm probably going to be on here for 5 more minutes. But as you guys are coming in or leaving, I just want to say thank you. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. I thank each and every one of you. Obviously I'm going to continue to grow this thing. Scotty leaving, it kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, people got to be happy with what they want to do. And if you're not going to be happy being on a show and you think it's time consuming or anything personal, that you have going on in your life and it's like a roadblock, then you can't do it. And I've said before, if he asks to come back on, I'm treating this as a business. If you leave in the middle of the season for whatever reason, you have a problem with me, problem with things at home. If you leave and just give up on the show, you're not coming back. It just is what it is. Now, will I have a co-host down the road? Maybe. But for right now, I'm going to give this solo thing a little bit of a workout. I'm going to see how it goes, and let's see how far we can take it. And obviously, we're going to be here every week for the rest of the season. We're going to be here after every game. I'm going to the game with Zomp on Sunday, so I'll probably do a reaction in my car when we leave. But yep, this is me. This is what I love doing, and I love you guys for staying in the zone with me, staying for my shows, and hopefully you guys like the content. I say this every week, but I love doing this shit, and I love the Birds. I really do. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Last night, yeah, my baseball team lost, but do I love them like I like the Eagles? No, I don't. Like, that's why when the guy in the comment section was like, I give you credit for doing this after last night. I've been alive for 5 titles. You know, how many titles do you need? Especially when you have people in my mindset that know if you have 3 errors in the 5th inning, you don't deserve it. You know, you don't deserve it. So at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. I don't like them as nearly as I like the Flyers and the Eagles. So if the Eagles won, you saw me, I was crying. I mean, if the Yankees won the title, I wasn't going to cry. It would just be another title. Chopflat says bring back Zomp. I don't think that's ever going to happen, to be honest with you. He's my friend. I talk to him all the time. But I want to see how the solo thing goes for right now. You know, obviously, because I'm getting my health in order. I just turned 32. You know, I want to be more of a responsible adult, and I want to use my brain. I want to use my brain that I've been gifted with, and you know, that's just what I want to do for the rest of the season. So we'll see how it goes. But this is a yearly show. This isn't just a seasonal show. This is a yearly show. So obviously, when the Eagles are not playing anymore, I'm gonna bring the Flyers and Sixers into it. It's a yearly show. But at the end of the day, I have fun doing this. As I have fun doing this, and as long as you guys keep watching and keep showing your support, and hell, give a super chat from me here and there. I'm not begging for money, but if you guys give a super chat, it helps grow it for sure. Using the fans' money opposed to my own, you know, it'd be great, and you guys would be a part of it, obviously, you know, because we'd be building with your guys, like building with the show. So that would be great. Obviously, you don't have to. I don't beg for money. I'm not one to do it. You see me, I go to games all the time. But obviously, in a business sense, if I did want to grow it and like buy more products and stuff like that with your guys' help, that would be the smart thing to do when it comes to business. But again, that's only if you guys feel like, you know, you're donating to something like special. That's what you think of the show. You know, I'm never one to ask for handouts. You know, I just feel like in a business sense, you know, sometimes the fans can help you. Fans can help you. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I have about a minute left. I just want to say thank you again for tuning in. The Eagles are going to win Sunday, obviously 31-20. I already said it. And I cannot wait to see where the show goes. One-man band, one-man army. You guys bring it every week. And I can't wait to see where this goes. But with that said, guys, Kelly Green week, we got to get it. We got to get this one in. It's one of 2. So Dougie P's coming back. It's gonna be emotional. I mean, I was supposed to go to the one in the rain a couple years ago. That was his real homecoming. But my dad felt sick. I spent like what $100 each on great tickets because it was raining, and he got sick at the last minute, couldn't go, so I had to eat those, unfortunately. But this is the first time that I will be in the stadium with the man, the myth, the legend. Doug Peterson going to be in the building. So can't wait for that. I'll be chilling. I don't know where I'm going to tailgate actually, but I will be there around 1 to watch the 1 o'clock games. And then we'll be in the stadium. So it's going to be a fun day. Cannot wait. As always, Follow Like an Eagle podcast will never fucking die, no matter who tries to ruin it. And we're fucking out. Bye, guys. Go Birds. Big game Sunday. Bye.